Okay, we are live, and today we are talking all things New Jersey. Tom, thank you so much for being here today. I apologize in advance. I am sick and I'm trying to push through. So if I say anything weird, let's blame it on the cold medicine. Tom, thank you again. So, Tom serves Hoboken, Jersey City, and all of northern New Jersey. So, he's here to tell us what it is that we need to know about the area, especially if you're relocating there. So, Tom, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be on. I appreciate everything that you're doing with this series and everything else, introducing agents from from all over. So I really appreciate the reach that you're showing your clients and everything else.
Absolutely. So, one of the biggest questions that I saw when I was doing some research prior to this video was people ask a lot, where is New Jersey? Which I was actually kind of surprised by, but you know what? We're in a judgment free zone. So, can you tell everyone where New Jersey actually is and how big is it? Because it's not, compared to California, it's not very large.
No, well, not very much is large compared to California, I guess you could say, right? So, New Jersey is an East Coast state, so it borders. We look at it as a tri-state area, right? So you've got New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, tucked in that northeast, corner of the country. And I will start by saying this: the show, The Jersey Shore, for anybody who ever watched that, is not really how typical New Jersey people act. But I do remember when that show first came out, people asking me all the time. Went to college out in Pennsylvania. Oh, did you? It's like the Jersey Shore, right? No, 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 no. Stop. It's not really like that. The parties at the shore, sure, but in terms of northern New Jersey and everything else, you've got, think of where New York City is, right? And then the Hudson River, and then you have New Jersey. And I tell people all the time, right? The best view of New York City is from the New Jersey side. Everybody likes to look at the New York skyline. And their best view of that is going to be from, where I am in Hoboken, Jersey City, and along what we call the Gold Coast. So we run the Hudson River, Bayonne, Jersey City, Hoboken, up to Weehawken, Edgewater, West New York, North Bergen, everything up there along, all the way up to like Fort Lee, which is the George Washington Bridge.
Awesome. And I mean, I guess one of the big questions that I typically have is who is moving there and what is the lifestyle like out there? Does it still feel like a big city? Is it commutable to get to New York from where you are? I mean, that seems like a big question that a lot of people ask.
Sure, yeah. So, and to answer, kind of pieces there, right? It's easily commutable. And most people that end up moving to Hoboken, Jersey City, Weehawken, the Hudson County area, even what is considered the southern Bergen County hook, right? So where the football stadium is for the Jets and Giants, is Rutherford, East Rutherford. Those areas are typically people who work in New York City. From Hoboken, you are an easy ferry ride, path train, or bus ride into the city. So it's nice because Hoboken
Okay.
has three different modes to get over to the city. And if it weren't freezing out right now, I could easily just walk outside my office door where I am right now, and you'd be able to look straight up and see the New York City skyline from where I am. So, I mean, Hoboken is right on the Hudson River, and there's a lot of places that overlook New York City from where we are. So the people that are moving here typically consist of, and we kind of run the gamut of diversity. Jersey City, I believe, was just recently voted one of the most diverse cities in the entire country.
That's
And we run
great.
it from everything from young professionals right out of college that have their first jobs, that are renting in the area, all the way up to, honestly, CEOs and professional athletes that live in Hoboken and Jersey City area, and Hudson County in general, and then even Bergen County as well. We've got a couple of New Jersey Devils players that live in town, live in Hoboken. Eli Manning used to live in Hoboken. So you have a wide range of demographic here, and what they do, and the areas that they're coming from. Where they're coming from a lot is what we see is New York City people that are priced out of the city.
Okay.
Say, well, I need more space, or I'm just not getting enough bang for my buck in the city. They'll come over to the New Jersey side, and they'll move to Hoboken, downtown Jersey City, Jersey City Heights, West New York, those areas, some of the luxury buildings over here, because you get a lot more space for your money.
Got it. And is there a fairly widespread on price point there as well? You mentioned first time home buyers, young professionals. So is it quote unquote affordable living out there?
Yeah, It depends what your definition of affordable is, right?
You're talking to a Californian, so I
Yeah,
guess
exactly.
my perspective might be different, but for the rest of the US, it might change.
Yeah, so I actually, as I was kind of prepping for this morning, I jumped on the MLS. I just kind of wanted to get a a screenshot of the entirety of Hoboken, Jersey, everything else, right? And right now the lowest active unit in Hoboken is priced at 515. All right, did I have that right? Yeah, $515,000, and that's a 2-bedroom condo, 605 square feet. All right, so
600
yeah,
square feet. Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So the first time home buyer market in Hudson County is a little bit difficult depending on depending on what you're looking for in your first time home. But when you're over here, you kind of you know what you're looking at, right? You know the condo living, you know city life, right? You understand it. The hard part is to explain that you're getting 605 square feet, to your parents, right? And as agents, we all joke about how when parents show up, they tend to, oh my God, I can't believe you're paying this price. Yeah, put them in a Hoboken apartment and let them and see how much they almost keel over when they hear the price that they're paying for the small places that you get.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the nice part is that you do have the ability to get outside of Hudson County, and get into Bergen County, right? Essex County and things like that, which is still an easy commute into the city. You're 35 minutes into the city, by bus or train over there, and you get a little bit more bang for your buck. You can get true starter homes in towns like East Rutherford, towns like North Arlington, Lyndhurst are all easily commutable towns, and you can get into those places anywhere from the mid threes to if you really want something crazy, all the way up to $2 million, right? So we run a very wide range in the area.
Okay. And in those primary areas of Hoboken and Jersey City, tell me what a typical single family home looks like. Does it have a large yard? Are you really close to your neighbors? What is that lifestyle?
Yeah, and it's funny because you had the guy from Westchester on, I think, in the
I
last
did
episode
last
or something
week,
like that,
John
right? Yeah,
Benefanti. Mhm.
and John said something about the 100 by 100 lot or the 25 by 100 lot, and that's the way that we work here too. And you're looking at 25 by 100, 25 wide by 100 deep. All right, some of the brownstones in our area are as small as 18 feet wide by 100 feet deep, and the single families don't typically take up the entirety of the lot in terms of depth. But you're looking at 4 bedrooms, city style yards, right? So I mean,
Okay.
small concrete patios, right, and small outdoor spaces for yards. But the single families are brownstones, right? I mean, you're looking at
Okay.
think like Brooklyn and what you see on like the TV, the real estate shows that take place in Brooklyn and things like that.
It's where I've
That's what you're
learned all
looking
of
at.
my New York
Yeah,
knowledge of
naturally,
real estate.
naturally,
Yes.
naturally, right? You probably watch Ryan Serhant sell all those places in there. You're like, I could do that. That's probably why you got into real estate, right?
No, but I do know a lot more about East Coast living due to that show. So there you go.
Yeah. So we're looking at the same
Yes.
thing.
Okay, so brownstone style and then or condominium style, right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
More,
what you're looking at.
far more condo lifestyle stuff than it is brownstone style. Because
Okay.
even some of the old brownstones have been converted to beautiful luxury condos, and they split them up, right? So you have top floor living and top 2 floors, and the first 2 floors are 2 different condos. So it really just depends on what you're looking for, but yeah, it's something for everybody, as long as you have the money to pay for it.
Yeah. And are there a lot of parks and things to do outdoors? I mean, granted, we're entering into winter season, but is there a lot of outdoor space to enjoy in the city as itself with
Yeah,
having a
so
limited
that's
backyard?
that's a really good question, right? And as somebody with 2 kids in Hoboken, 2 young kids, I get it. Needing the space and everything else. I don't have outdoor space in my apartment or anything like that. So we spend a ton of time in the Hoboken parks, and Hoboken has really really poured a ton of money over the last few years into the infrastructure of all the parks and recreation activities around the city. Jersey City kind of doubled down on that, did the same thing. Jersey City also has Liberty State Park, which is a state park in New Jersey, and it's overlooks the Hudson. There's marinas there, there's restaurants in there. I mean, it's really in terms of outdoor space, there is plenty of parks, playgrounds, and things to do. And then if you want to get up outside of Hudson County and head up to Bergen County. You can get the Palisades Park, which is a ton of, really nice hiking with beautiful views that overlooking the Hudson River. So, even though it's truly is city life in Hudson County where we are, there is plenty of opportunity to get outside of the city. We're, easily up to Palisades Park. And I think to get to the Poconos when I go out there, it takes me an hour and 20 minutes to get out to the Poconos, where there's tons of mountains and everything else. So we're really centrally located in that regard.
Yeah, that's great. And the weather. Let's talk about the weather. Probably a sore subject right now.
Yeah,
in December.
It's getting more and more sore by the minute at this point.
Yeah, while I sit here and wear a light sweatshirt, tell us about what the weather is like in that area.
Yeah, it's everything you'd expect in the Northeast, and it's cold in the winters, beautiful in the springs and summer, right? And in the summer, we are an easy shot down the Garden State Parkway to get down to the shore, Seaside Heights, Belmar, Asbury Park. All those areas along the shoreline. Sandy Hook is close to Hoboken. So, you have plenty of places to go in the spring and summer to get out of the city life and get the beach life. Having grown up in the shore life, having grown up in Belmar, New Jersey, right just outside of Belmar in a town called Howell down there. I loved this. I loved the summers at the beach. And then I moved up north, and I used to love the snow and everything else until I moved into a city and I realized how much the snow absolutely crushes cities. So it's everything you expect from the Northeast.
Okay.
We had the full run.
It could be a little bit of a shock in the weather sense if someone lives on the West Coast, for example.
Yeah, unless you're up in Northern California, right? Northern California, you're dealing with different weather up there. But yeah, it's quite the shock.
Yeah, we still drive to the snow. We don't live in the snow in Northern California, so we're very lucky. But it's currently about 45 degrees outside. So
yeah, I would kill for that right now.
I know. So what about, again, I'm going with some stereotypical things that I hear about.
Yeah, absolutely.
The East Coast, right? So what about drivability? Does everyone drive there? Is it more feeling like inner city where you have public transportation that you're utilizing mostly? What's that like?
Yeah, driving around in Hudson County, Hoboken in particular, is not something I would really recommend. But listen, let's face it, right? It's still the East Coast. Everybody has cars, and most people have cars and everything else. So it's street parking, but there is plenty of transportation modes. You've got buses that run all the time, plenty of train options. Whether you're going out to the suburbs on train or getting into the city through the PATH train, which for those who don't know what a PATH train is, right? The PATH train is basically almost like a subway, but they connects New Jersey to New York City. So you can get New York City through the PATH, through buses, through ferries across the Hudson River, and there are tons of local runs on the buses. So you don't really need a car, frankly. You really don't, unless you need to commute, do the reverse commute, going out to Bergen County for work. But people who work in the city tend to not have cars if they don't absolutely need it.
Okay. Makes sense. And I'm glad that we kind of addressed that because again, it's in my head, right? Yeah. So that's perfect. And let's talk a little bit more about what the market is right now. Now, granted, this is December 2022. So someone may be watching this a year from now. Things may be slightly different, but in the market that we're in right now, what are you seeing? How is the competition? Is it still a strong real estate market in your markets? Used markets.
Yeah. So we're dealing with the same thing that right, the nationwide story is, right, is we have certainly seen a slowdown as of late, but we've always seen a slowdown this time of year. The holiday season has always been, and then over the last 8 or so years, the spring market has started earlier and earlier, right? It used to be April was the spring market, then it was March, right, and then it's the end of February, middle of February start to see all these houses start to hit the market, right? We're still dealing with the same stuff that we have been in the past. The most important thing that I'm trying to educate my sellers on is that buyers are absolutely around here as well, same as everywhere else. Buyers are getting some of their purchasing power back, and it's more important now than ever to properly price the home with where the market currently is and where it's going, as opposed to being able to, try and reset the number and push the market. But yeah, we're seeing the same thing, longer days on market, and, more negotiability, negotiable, places, right? Buyers are getting credits and things like that. So, in terms of the market, has it stopped? Absolutely not. But, has it slowed? Sure. But it's slowed everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about just the job market as a whole? So is the job market still strong there? I know you mentioned people commuting to New York City, for example, but how strong is that still today?
So it's funny because during COVID, I dealt with a lot of people getting the hell out of the city, right? Like, you had a huge suburban sprawl, during COVID to get out. And what I'm seeing now, and actively shopping for clients right now, is the clients who said, we need out of the city earlier than we thought we would ever need it. And they would sell and go, down the shore, or go out to the suburbs and things like that. And now all of a sudden things are opening, are all open to back up. And they're going, well, shit, now I really miss the city life.
Yeah.
And they're coming
Yeah.
back, right? So they COVID was a life event market, right? So it was one of those things that once it passed, the market was going to, correct itself and get back, and the cities were going to open again, and people were going to be due back at their desks in the city. So I'm seeing a lot more people come back to the city life because they still realize that, well, even if I'm only due at my desk in New York, 3 or 4 days a week, that commute, I'd still prefer to have a shorter commute than deal with, going in from the suburbs.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
job market's stronger. Things are opening back up in the city, and people are being due back at their desks much more often now.
Yeah, and we're seeing that in California, not just as the city sprawl, but more of the state to state. People are relocating back to California because they're like, hold on, I have to go back to work at Apple. They
Yeah,
won't let me
exactly.
work
Yeah,
remotely
right.
anymore. So it's
It was
become,
nice. It was nice when they all got to work from home, and they all went, "Oh, this is great. I can go out someplace else and get all this land and get all this space and work from home." And then all of a sudden, these businesses went, "Yeah, okay, well, now you're due back." So we're kind of dealing with the same thing.
yeah, yeah. I actually had a client who never bought another house during COVID. They decided to road trip it around the US to figure out
Wow.
where they were going to go next and if it would fit in with the work plans. But they left their California home, they sold it, and then they just traveled around until they made a decision on where to land. So
Where they end up landing?
they ended up in Boise, Idaho.
Okay, that is
So,
quite the
yeah,
change.
yeah, it is, but it was a very big migration pattern that we
Yeah.
saw from California to Idaho big time. But in any case, I mean that's happening more and more. We're seeing it a lot, and it provides a little bit of a strong market in that sense too. So it's good.
Sure. Sure.
What kind of advice would you give to someone that was relocating to your area from another state? What would be your first bit of advice to give someone that's brand new to northern New Jersey?
Sure. I think the biggest thing is sitting down and having that conversation of to what exactly is important to them and where they land, right? Is city life and convenience important to them, right? Or is space and a backyard for their kids to run around in important to them, right? Because we can do it all up here, right? You can have
Yeah.
whatever lifestyle you want. You want the lifestyle of being in the city, we can easily do that for you. You want outdoors lifestyle, woods, lakes, and hiking and everything else with tons of outdoor space, we can do that too. So the biggest piece of advice is putting together a map as to like what's important to you, right? Is easy commute important to you? Where are you working? What types of modes of transportation do we really need to get you on? And then kind of back out where we put you based on those types of things, because you can literally have in northern New Jersey whatever your heart desires in terms of lifestyle. So that would be the biggest piece of advice is trying to back it out to see what's truly important to them.
I love it. And that's so important to have a great agent such as yourself on their side when they're relocating. It's really important. And that's the
Yeah.
reason I'm doing all of this. So I
Yep.
appreciate that. Well, let's talk for a second about you. So fun fact about you is that you're also a full-time firefighter. So do you want to speak on that just a little bit to give
Yeah.
everyone an idea?
So I guess it was 2013. I started on the Hoboken Fire Department. I left teaching. I was teaching in a Jersey City high school for 4.5 years. I, accomplished what every teacher wants to do. We got tenure. I don't know if you guys have tenure out in California, right? So I got tenure, and then decided I got hired in the fire department. I went, I'm going to go ahead and leave. I'm going to go ahead and leave teaching and get the hell out of there and join the fire department. And I did. And that same year, I got my real estate license. And now I tell people I have 2 full-time careers. I work 24 hours on the fire department, 72 hours off. So I leave the firehouse, go home, get my, help my wife get my kids together, and then I head into the office and get my real estate stuff squared away. And it's nice because both of my careers have really prepared me to help people in what is truly probably one of the most stressful times in their life, whether it be buying or selling a home, or God forbid I show up in my turnout gear because you have a fire in your apartment or some type of other emergency. Both of my careers require me to kind of keep my head when everything else around me can get chaotic. So it's nice. It's kind of prepared me for both sides of it.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure you meet so many amazing people through that career path as well, and I'm sure it overlaps quite nicely.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's nice to truly know building construction when I walk into a building, right? There's only probably a small handful of buildings inside of Hoboken that I haven't been in. All right, so I've seen just about everything that Hoboken has to offer. So that part is nice. That overlap is nice, and it allows me to really kind of service my clients on a much different scale than a lot of people.
Oh yeah, and layering that with your past as a teacher, I think all of those things go hand in hand so perfectly. So it's great.
Yeah.
And I like people to know where you're from and what you're currently doing, because I don't know, if I found out my future realtor was also a firefighter, like that, just first responders, my husband's a nurse, that's something that's really, really fond to me in my heart. So I love to hear those things as well. So
yeah, and it's nice to kind. It's nice to give a little bit of insight too, as to I'm not just running around just doing real estate, right? And it's nice because I can operate from a much different perspective than a lot of people, because I don't have to. And I tell my clients this all the time, right? I don't have to sell my clients something, right? I get to sell them something, because of the fact that I don't have to force them to buy into something. I do this because I enjoy it. It's not a necessary thing for me to close that commission check. It's nice, but it's not necessary. So I get to sell people houses.
Absolutely. And let's just throw this one more time. I know I did it as you were talking, but Frankie F16 says Tom is the best, and I will have to agree. So gotta throw that out there one more time just to give it its honorable mention. Okay, so one thing that I love to ask any guest that I have on this is, what are some of your favorite places to eat, and what do you recommend for people that are coming to visit New Jersey area?
So northern New Jersey is known big time for its Italian food, right? So Italian food is a staple up here, and as well as our pizza, right? So I don't care what anybody says, and don't come at me, people from Connecticut and New York. New Jersey pizza is better, all right? So yeah, I don't want to hear it. It's not up for discussion. It's not up for debate. New Jersey pizza is better. But in terms of Hoboken, the must-have, right? There's a couple of things that must-have is you have to go to Fiore's Deli for the fresh mozz. The fresh mozz is unbelievable at Fiore's, and something about Hoboken in general is it's 1 square mile, and there are a ton of Italian delis. And the big thing is, which deli do you frequent all the time? And that's kind of the big debate is who's the best deli in town. I'm a big fan of Tony's, Lasordo Brothers, and Fiore's are my 2 favorite.
Nice. Oh, I'm hungry. Italian pizza, all of this stuff. So
if you're ever out here, if you're ever out this way, we're gonna have to meet up, and you're gonna have a sandwich from Fiore's.
Absolutely. It's going to happen. Mark my words. Well, I appreciate you being on this so much. And please tell everyone how to find you if they want to get in contact with you.
Yeah, I do a lot of my stuff on Instagram. I put a lot of educational videos and things like that up. And that is, you can find me at Tom Worley Homes. And that's kind of, probably the best starting point is Instagram, and finding me on there, Tom Worley Homes.
Perfect. Perfect. And I will also tag you in this video. So if anyone's looking
Awesome.
in how to get a hold of you, they will be able to do so. If you are trying to find more information about relocation, definitely check out my playlist where I have lots of other interviews. If you're looking to relocate to New Jersey, Tom is your guy. Thank you so much for watching. Tom, stick around for a second, and I will see you all soon.